Hi everybody, welcome back to the Bolt Hole Biker, to day 2 of my little trip down from northern to southern Spain, where I'm going to be spending the next couple of months. I stayed in Salamanca last night and I am heading down towards a place called Ciudad Real today, which is a city, not one that I've ever been to. I've never really been to anywhere in sort of inland Spain, and although I'm heading south, oops, this is the péage, I think. Péage, that's French. Peaje. Don't know how much it's going to be. I didn't even know there were any peajes in this part of Spain. I just saw a sign on the road back there saying peaje. I was like, oh, great, how much is this going to cost me? And we are just about to find out. Oh no, we're not. All I've got to do is take a ticket here. Thank you. Oh no, where can I put it? Oh, let's get past this first before it goes down again. Stick it in a pocket. That'll do. Right, I'm back in the game. Where are we? It's 3 degrees centigrade again. Stupidly, I thought it was going to be warmer in Spain because I've come further south in the world, obviously. What I didn't take into account is that huge amounts of Spain, and I mean, I'll see if I can look it up and confirm it on this video, but I seem to remember reading that something like about 70% of Spain is over 500 feet or 500 meters or something like that above sea level, and something like a third of it is 1,000 feet or 1,000 meters above sea level. It must be feet, it can't be meters. But that means that it's all fairly well high up, so unless you're down in the sort of coastal areas, which are obviously nice and warm, you're basically up in the hills, and it's quite cool. As I say, it's colder here than when I left England. Although the sun's out and I don't feel cold. I've got winter gloves on. I've got these you've seen these Kai's heated gloves that have got, rather than having 4 fingers, they've got like 2 fingers in each, so they're almost like somewhere between a glove and a mitten, and they're lovely and warm. I haven't got them on, you know, I haven't got them switched on. I'm just wearing them as winter gloves, and they're lovely and warm. And that's at 3 degrees C. My hands are nice and toasty, and the landscape is, apart from being really rocky, it's covered in these really sort of small trees, which again must be something to do with the elevation that they're growing at. But none of them are tall. There's no tall trees at all. They're all really small. And it is, I'm about an hour and 20 minutes, hour and a half out of Salamanca now, and I've ridden through some quite flat country, quite barren. I don't know if that might be a bit out of order calling it barren at this time of year, because there's not going to be a lot growing at this time of year, but it does seem very rocky, and I don't see how much would grow there. But it's starting to get a bit hillier now, and I'm obviously going up because it went down, it's gone back up to 3 now, but it was on 2 degrees not so long back. So it's definitely an interesting ride. It's not what I expected at all, I have to say. I thought the further south I came, the warmer it was going to get, and that is not the case. But it is dry. The roads look quite white, which suggests that they've had salt thrown over them. So sorry bike, but I've got no way of washing you. Just going to have to tough it out, see what we end up with at the end. Incidentally, I'm doing this on the Multistrada 950S, my lovely Multistrada. I love this bike. It's got about 18,000 miles on it now, just over, because I had the Desmo service done before I left, which is a bit painful, £1,000. But you kind of know that's coming if you're buying a Ducati, don't you? And you're going to ride it. Oh look, we are literally just about to ride into snow-covered mountains. Oh, that's really lovely. Really lovely. I don't mind travelling on my own. I am quite a solitary rider. I quite like riding on my own. God, look how much salt must be on these roads. The only time it's a bit weird is in the evenings when you're kind of on your own and there's nobody to talk to. Oh, my petrol light's on now. Arsington. There's one in 26 kilometres, that'll do. Yeah, especially seeing as I'm wanting to be practicing my Spanish, and when you're in a city for one night on your own, chances of meeting people are slim, and you're basically just, the only Spanish I've been practicing is, you know, ordering a table, ordering a drink and food, and booking into my hotel room. That's about it. That's why I'm quite looking forward to getting down to where I'm going to be staying sooner rather than later, because I'll be with people on a daily basis then, and hopefully we'll be speaking Spanish to each other as much as possible. I'm trying to work out whether this is salt that's been thrown on the road. I'm sure it is. Yeah, sorry bike. If I can find somewhere to give it a cold water rinse off, I will, but I'm not liking my chances. Ah, we're going past the snowy mountains, not through the snowy mountains. I was talking about the bike, wasn't I? Yeah. On the 950S, got my... I haven't got a top box for this bike, but I've got the two panniers, so I've got the two panniers and a 30 litre Krieger bag, and on top of that I've got a 20 litre Krieger bag, and then I've got my rucksack that's got my camera gear in it. And it all fits on really compact and comfortably. And I've got, obviously this has got electronic suspension, so I've just set it, I've actually set it to rider and passenger rather than rider and luggage, because the luggage I've got is quite heavy. I've got a couple of big fat locks with me, which weigh a ton. Solo turismos pago con tarjeta. Sí. Bueno, peaje. Ticket 12.10. Okay. Sorry about that. Now then, what was that? 12.50 or something? Only on that road for a little while. Oh, well. If that's how they pay for their roads, that's fair enough, isn't it? Well, that was an interesting little scenario. I've got this keyless, the bike's keyless, and it's got a keyless petrol cap, which is the only thing on the bike that doesn't always work properly. It's just a little bugbear. I don't know why, for some reason you have to sometimes fire the bike up, you know, push the button to get it fired up and then off again for it to work. But this time I just had to do that about, I'm not kidding you, 5 or 6 times. I didn't know if it was going to open, to be honest with you. For the first and only time ever with this bike, I had visions of being stuck, not being able to open the petrol cap at some bloody random service station in the middle of Spain. Anyway, it opened in the end, but I don't know why everything else on this bike works perfectly. There's, like, all the electronic bits, everything, the keyless ignition, all that stuff never misses a beat. But the petrol cap has always been a bit temperamental. It has always opened, and this time it did open, but it never, or very, very rarely opens first time. Anyway, next time I get the bike serviced, I might just get them to put the original petrol cap on. I've got the petrol cap because this keyless petrol cap was it's an optional extra. I thought, well, if I'm having a keyless bike, I might as well have a keyless petrol cap. But obviously I've got the key with me, otherwise the bike wouldn't start. So it's not like you're ever going to be at a petrol station and not have the key. So I think I'm just going to get the conventional one put back on. It's too bloody risky. What would I have done then? That would have tested my Spanish, wouldn't it? Telling the bloke in the petrol station, oh, I'm sorry, I can't go anywhere because my petrol cap won't open. I suppose I can borrow your phone. So I was like, phone Ducati Spain. No, that wasn't a conversation I wanted to have in Spanish. Anyway, all's well that ends well, and I have another full tank of fuel, 345 kilometres showing as my range, whatever that is in miles, 220 or something like that, is it? Now, where am I going? I'm in the outskirts of Madrid at the moment. I think I'm about 30 kilometres from Madrid. But I'm not going to Madrid, I'm going past it. Bloody hell. Everything in this area is covered in graffiti. The buildings. Even the houses. Someone got a bit mad with a spray can around here. I don't mind a bit of graffiti. If it's good graffiti, I quite like it. Even a decent, well done tag, I don't mind. I'm not against graffiti. I quite like seeing a bit of graffiti. I think it brings a little je ne sais quoi. And I'm not talking about knobheads who just turn up with a can of black spray paint and just tag everything. I'm talking about a little bit of artistic graffiti. I have to say, the ride around the Madrid area is very colourful. Pretty much every flat surface has got graffiti on it. It's everywhere. I quite like it. In fact, I have just thought, I'd forgotten about this, but when I was younger, I worked for a couple of years as an arts development officer for a local council down in West Sussex, Horsham in West Sussex. And one of the things that job involved was setting up arts projects for kids during the summer holidays from school and what have you. And one of the things that I organised was spray can art workshops, which is basically shorthand for graffiti workshops. So if you happen to live in the Horsham area and you're blighted by loads of young people going around doing graffiti, I do apologise. I probably had some part in that. It seemed like fun at the time though. Talking back in the late 90s, of course. I'm a bit long in the tooth. Those kids will be grown up, they'll have kids of their own doing graffiti now. Yeah, son, you gotta get your tag right, although they won't speak like that, they'll be much posher, won't they? There'll be posh graffiti artists in West Sussex. Oh, come on, son, you've got to get your tag right. Here, this was mine when I was a lad. I'm about half an hour out of Ciudad Real now. I'm in the province of Ciudad Real. And I've just been going past miles and miles of really neatly planted olive trees, and now loads of really young vines. What look like vines are going to be vineyards, but really, really neatly laid out. I mean, this is so different to what the landscape was when I was coming out of Salamanca. Nowhere near as rocky. It looks really fertile and very kind of neatly ordered. But I do keep seeing statues and paintings and all sorts of Don Quixote and Pancho Sanchez. They really do like him over here. When I say over here, I mean in sort of central Spain, which is effectively where I am. I'm right in the middle of Spain at the moment. There look, more vines being cultivated over there. Miles and miles of no doubt, like miles of olive trees, like really well established olive trees. The roads are lovely for riding on now. Even though it's still only 9 degrees, that's fine, 9 degrees is fine, but the roads are bone dry, so it's just like riding in the summer. Bit easier finding the hotel this time. Sat nav brought me straight here, and it's got its own underground parking. Brilliant. So that's the bike secure again for another night. And right from the car park you can just catch a what am I talking about? Take a lift right up to the rooms. Brilliant. I love it. I think the hotel cost about 70 quid or something. Why's that one got? Oh, it's down this side. I don't see the difference. Oh, they'll be coming up there. Probably best not risk someone coming up the other way. Lovely. Absolutely lovely. Right. Look at that. Number 13's free. My lucky number. I was born on the 13th. That'll do. Guess what was in the reception? You've guessed it. Half-size models of Don Quixote and Pancho Sancho. Well, I definitely can't complain about the hotel room. It's got an air of grandeur to it. It's kind of like I've just walked onto the Titanic. It's a bit dated, but it's not tired, and that is a line that I nicked from a review of it, and that is about right. But the best thing is, like all the best hotel rooms, it's got a minibar with beer in it. Anyway, it's also got a pool and a gym, and I've just been to the pool and the gym for a small amount of time, and now I'm going to go and hit the bar, I think. So I'm going to call this video here. I shall see you tomorrow for my next instalment, where I ride down to the Alpujarra Mountains, which is my final destination. See you then. Bye.